Hello everybody, and a special hello to any nursery children who are watching today. I'm missing you all and I hope you're all well. Now today I'm in Paul's garden and I've been with some of the children who've been coming into school, and we've been doing some pond dipping, and we have found an amazing load of little creatures that we'd like to show you what's been going on here. So in a minute I will zoom in on the trays of the wildlife that we found and see whether you can recognise any of the little creatures. Okay, see you in a minute. In this tray we have lots of dragonfly larvae. Can you point to where the dragonfly larvae are? There's a big one there, but that's not the only one. We've got about 4 or 5 of them in here.
I've got another newt. Why?
Yeah. And there's some very tiny ones that look a little bit like dragonfly larvae,
What?
but they are either damselfly larvae or mayfly larvae. Can you see where any other things that are moving in there? Can you pinpoint anything?
No.
Oh, there's one whizzing across the... Yeah. What else have you found? Is that a tadpole zooming around there?
Yeah.
Where did that tadpole go? There it goes. There it goes. Now at the moment, if I zoom in on the tadpole, oh, there goes the, if I zoom in on the dragonfly larva, you can see him there. He's a vicious hunter. Right, okay, now here I've separated off some of the creatures that we found so that we can get a closer look at them. And I can zoom in without getting too distracted with them all whizzing around the tray. So to start with, if we zoom in on these lovely little creatures, can you remember what these are? Yeah, these are the dragonfly larvae. And you can see here, got some brilliant specimens. Some are green, some are brown, so they may be from different species. And they are different sizes because dragonfly larvae like this can stay in the pond for up to 5 years. So the littlest ones may have only been in for a year, and the biggest ones might be just about ready to develop and emerge into dragonflies. Yeah, have a look at them. These are, as I said before, ferocious hunters. They're okay in this pot for a little while, but if they were here for too long, they might even start eating each other. They've got very big eyes. You can see that on the green one especially. And in their mouths, they've got a special jaw which can shoot out and catch its prey and bring it back to its mouth to feed. Well, as I was saying, they different sizes. Their skin doesn't grow with them. They have to shed their skin, and sometimes it looks like we found dead ones. But in fact, if I move down to the next tray, these here look like dead ones, but in fact they're the skins of the larvae when they've emerged. So these are quite big skins, so these might have emerged into dragonflies already, but they have to shed their skins loads of times before they get to this size. Okay, now we go on to another one, and in this one are the water lice. As I said before, these look a little bit like woodlice, and they do the same job as the woodlice, but they live in the water. They've got lots of legs. They eat all of the dead, rotting vegetation, so they're very good for the pond, and there's loads of those in the pond. Okay, you can see the loads of legs. And let's go down again to this pond. Aha! Here we've got what look a little bit like dragonflies, but if you notice at the end of their tail, they've got 3 sort of feather-like bits, and those are their gills. They help them breathe. They are in fact damselflies, which are smaller than dragonflies and a lot thinner, but they also will eat other creatures in the pond, so we better not keep them in together for too long. Then let's move on over to here, and of course here are the tadpoles. We said that we had some tadpoles. There's not so many if you think about the thousands of eggs that the frogs laid and the thousands of little tiny tadpoles that were here at the beginning of spring, there's only a few left. They're not developed yet. They haven't got their legs developed yet, so they've still got quite a lot of growing to do. And they're being very still at the moment. But if I just squirt them a little bit, you can see their wiggle. You can see their tails wriggling. And then we move down to the snails. And snails are here. We've got two different types of snails. We've got the ram's horn snail. So if I push that one over, you can see that it's got a curly whirly spiral like a sheep's horn. And then there's the other snails which have been trying to get out of the container. Just like normal snails, they can use their foot to move over the plastic, and they'll be trying to get out soon, so we better let them. Oh, you can see that one, its horns are just coming out and it's beginning to creep along. Anyway, so that's the little creatures that we found. The next clip that I show you will be something even more special. The last one is worth waiting for. I'm going to zoom out so you can get one last look of those creatures. Fantastic, aren't they? We're so lucky to have a pond like this with so many living things in it. Anyway, I'm going to move on to the newts next. As I said, I've saved the best till last. These are amazing creatures. Does anyone know what they are? They are newts. Just like frogs and toads, they're amphibians, which means that they live in water some of the time and they live on land at some of the time. But at the moment there are loads in the pond because at this time of year they are laying their eggs. And so maybe in a few weeks' time we may see little newt tadpoles. Now, although we love to see them, their favourite food when they're in the pond are tadpoles. So that might explain why we haven't got so many tadpoles at the moment. When they go out onto land, they eat other things. They eat slugs and snails and worms. But when they're in the pond, the tadpoles need to watch out. These, if I zoom in closer, these are called, they've wriggled away. Let's have a closer look, see if we can find them again. Ooh, there he is. Right, you can see here, these type of newts are the most common newts that you can find in England. They're called smooth newts, and their skin is quite smooth and just brown. You can see they've got their tail there. They don't lose their tails like frogs, they just keep them there. So we'll have these newts possibly in the pond for a few weeks. When they've laid all of their eggs, they'll come out of the pond and go off into the garden looking for other food. So, okay, so that is all of the animals that we found in the pond, and maybe in a few weeks' time. Hello again. I hope you've enjoyed looking at the little creatures that we found in the pond. I found it very interesting, and I know the children that I was with found it very interesting, and I hope you've learnt a few things. I've now let all of the creatures go because obviously it's important to put them back into their habitat where they live, and we're going to leave them in peace and maybe come back in a couple of weeks to see how things have developed. Now, I know most of you probably don't have ponds in your own gardens, but next time you're in the garden or out for a walk, there's loads of other wildlife around, so maybe you could have a hunt, go on a bug hunt and see what you can find. But remember the caring code. Show respect for those little creatures. Always put them back where you found them. It's okay to look at them and observe them, but be gentle. They are living creatures and we need to look after them. So anyway, happy hunting, and I'm going to say goodbye and take care and look after yourselves, and of course look after the wildlife. Bye.